conscious manifestation versus manifestation is that manifestation is what we're all doing all the time. And most people don't realize is that they are co-creating their reality all the time. And they're doing it unconsciously. And most of the world is doing it unconsciously. When you become a conscious manifester, this means that you're becoming aware that you're doing this, and you're able to focus your thoughts in a way that would be beneficial to you in creating a reality that you really want. Now, it's not that easy. It's not like you go from here to here. It's definitely a journey, and there's definitely layers of becoming more conscious and more conscious of a co-creator. So when people first get into the law of attraction, like they read The Secret, like I did, I thought that just by thinking positive all the time, no matter what, if I become a militant positive thinker, then my reality is going to start, going exactly the way I want it. And that's just not the way it works. Just because we're thinking positive all the time, it's good. It's a good place to start, right? So by training your thoughts and starting to generally focus more positive rather than negative, you are aligning to higher vibrational realities. But what we don't realize is that there are unconscious aspects of us that are still kind of in the shadows, if you will, in the subconscious, whatever it is, in our energy field. And these aspects need integration. And this is part of a spiritual ascension journey. By integrating these shadows, we then, become bigger expressions of ourselves. You remember who we truly are. And it's not such a deterrent from manifesting what we really want, because what happens is we will be thinking these positive things, and then something bad happens, or we label it as bad, and we're like, why'd that happen? I've been thinking positive all the time. Again, it's something within your subconscious or the shadow aspects that is needing and seeking integration and healing. And so you're going to manifest it because it is in your field. You just don't see it. It's a blind spot. So what I help my clients do is to integrate these parts of themselves so that, what we'll do is we'll take the light that we found from positive thinking, positive focus, and we'll shine that light down into the shadows of our being. And we will integrate those aspects, heal them, love them back into wholeness, so that then, we're in a place where we are manifesting a much more idealistic reality. When I first learned about manifestation, my goals were, okay, I want to work at the most well-known fashion brand in America. And I want this, amazing apartment in Soho. I want these things. I want this wardrobe. I wanted all these things because, looking back, I was seeking love, and I was seeking validation and acceptance, from my peers, my family, whoever. So I thought that by getting these things, deep down, by getting these things, I would be gaining more love and attention and more friends. But ultimately, it didn't work that way, and I wasn't fulfilled. So I was really manifesting from ego, from this lackful place, this place where it's like a need. I need these things. So that's what you find out when you're just using manifestation. You're still doing it consciously, but if you're manifesting from ego, it's never going to be fulfilling. And so, for me, I went on a deeper journey. What is going to make me truly happy and truly fulfilled by using, I can still use manifestation. And so I started to align with my truth, my higher self, my soul, and started to ask questions. Okay, if I don't know what I want, what do we want? I surrender. I allow you to show me, to guide me. I really do. And I started to listen and pay attention. I started to meditate and ask these questions. What does it look like for me to be truly fulfilled? And when I asked those questions, I would receive visions and just little inklings, little steps on my path that would then take me to this ultimate dream reality that would really make me happy. And I really had to set aside my ego once at that point. But for me, it's so worth it, and as I've been doing this, I do feel so much more expansive. I am raising my consciousness. I am seeing so much more these days, and that's the path. if I'm having a negative thought, okay, so there's a few things going on or could be going on. One is, maybe I'm being triggered. And if I'm being triggered, that's triggering an old trauma that needs my attention. Okay, so this is one thing that could happen. In that instance, I really allow myself to feel that negative emotion, if even just for a minute, because it's really wanting my attention. So I feel it, I let it flow through, and then I'm back. I'm back to, connecting this connection that is allowing me to be in this more positive place. But sometimes negative thoughts come through, and they're like through patterning. They're through our ego, or this part of us that just almost wants to like harp on negative situations or projections or things. And so when that comes through, I like to pivot. So I pivot my thought to a more positive one as much as possible. And there is this, there's a gradient, and you have to learn how to discern what that is. So as you become more conscious, you're able to gain that greater awareness and clarity. But I would say, when you're starting out, to start to try to pivot, as much as possible, because a lot of times people have the negative chatter going on so much that they really, most of the time, just pivot to a more positive, loving thought about yourself and others. When I feel a real intense reaction to something, it's really triggering me. So let's just say, a waiter said something, and it wasn't like, you bitch. It was like, can you please push in your chair? It's something simple. And I would like, oh my God, yes. And then I would feel bad, and I would almost like want to tear up. That would definitely be a triggering a trauma from when I was little, which would have been, me experiencing something that made me feel smaller or not worthy of taking up space or whatever that is. So when it's that real reaction like that intense reaction, I know it's a trigger and it needs my attention. And so when that happens, I'll just take a moment and breathe and, try not to react to them in any way as much as possible, and just, come back to my connection and my centeredness, and then just breathe love into that inner child who needs that attention. And then when it's just a negative thought coming through, it's kind of like just coming through, and it's not so much of less like emotional reaction. It's just kind of like there. Then I realize, okay, this is just patterning. It's something that I used to think, and I'm going to change that now. For me, feeling centered and grounded, I feel connected to the earth, to Gaia, but I also feel connected here. So I feel clear, I feel clarity, I feel expansive, I feel light, I feel joy. And the opposite of that might, be you feel confused, you feel lethargic, you feel uninspired, unhopeful, heavy. Wow, that's such a good question. I think that my biggest message to the world is that each of us are powerful co-creators that are always co-creating our experience. And if you learn that you are not a victim of life, that, through your thoughts, beliefs, emotions, and actions, and it really starts with your thoughts, and that's a really good place to start, you can shape and create a beautiful reality. And that doesn't mean it's perfect, We still have lessons that need to come through, and we still have things going on that are maybe beyond what we can fully see. That's why we're learning to become conscious. The more conscious you become, the more you see all this. But, when you start with, really getting aware of the thoughts you're thinking, those will inform your emotions, and your emotions will inform your actions. So it makes sense why it all works together. So I think that, my biggest message is really just for people to start becoming aware of this. And as we kind of, become aware of our shadows and the things that we're not paying so much attention to, we're going to heal ourselves and we're going to heal the world. And it really starts there. It really starts with your thoughts. And are you thinking loving thoughts, kind thoughts to yourself and others? Or are there other things coming up? And if they are, just pay attention to that, and really send those love, because those are parts of yourself that haven't been healed. Those are your inner child that needs to be integrated, loved, and healed. And that's going to reflect out to the rest of the world. But it really starts with you.